Say for the real ones.
I'm Brian Anderson, here with Grant Hill and Stan Van Gundy. And with us on the sidelines, we've got Allie LaForce. Here we go.
Oh my, talk about mental toughness. The crowd was roaring against them, but they were able to focus and finish the task at hand.
Nothing is better than winning on the road in this league. It's so difficult. You savor every one of those.
One thing you can say about Boston, Grant, they know how to put a team together.
Yeah, the Celtics' consistency of winning is just impressive, both now and throughout their entire history. They are really the gold standard in this league, and it's mostly because of great draft picks and great trades.
So it's Brooklyn now, following the bucket by Boston. Johnson for three. Porzingis grabs the board. Pass to Tatum. The three. Brooklyn pulls it in. Williams with it. Taking a look at his numbers, averaging about 11 a game. Pure from three-point range.
He's consistent from out there, especially when you give him that kind of room.
Tatum looking it over. Off target there with a little leaner. Brooklyn with the ball. Thomas outside. Nice start for him. Taking his first shot.
Well, that's probably not the shot they were looking for, but hey, when it goes in, everybody's happy.
Here's Tatum. And the shot no good. A bit short.
1 of 5 to start the game. They have to slow down and just play their brand of basketball.
And Claxton throws it down.
Attacking the rim with power.
Tremendous finish. Will it go? And that one's good. Porzingis.
Well, hey, you set Porzingis up and he'll knock him down. Terrific off the catch.
Pass to Johnson. Back to Johnson. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Nifty move. Can't get it to drop. Some solid defense from Holiday. All right, let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Well, I had a chance to talk with head coach Jordi Fernandez. We talked about some of the challenges that they'll face tonight, not the least of which is defending Jason Tatum. He said the guy plays with so much confidence. He's a great scorer from all 3 levels. He can go for 40, 50, 60 in a night. We just have to try and make someone else beat us.
And Allie, thanks. He drops it from range.
A big man with big-time range. Porzingis is a legit threat from three-point land.
And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. He's going to gather the troops and talk it over. And so it's Johnson with it. He brings it up for the Nets. They trail by 1. The kick out to Williams. Nails it from 3.
Well, the defense gave that away. He's a skilled shooter who you have to contest at the arc.
And Holiday, here we go. And the layup is good off the glass.
Hey, Holiday sees the lane and does not hesitate.
And coach, a perennial all-defense performer, Drew Holiday, fearsome at that end of the floor in particular.
Yeah, Brian, he's as good a defensive guard as there is. Great size and strength at the point guard spot. You combine that with his IQ and his competitive will, he is a problem on a nightly basis.
Now here's Porzingis. He has 6. Kick out to Brown. And a miss there on the triple.
Well, you can tell he thinks he should have had that one. Even harder on him when he's got a good look like that and it doesn't go down.
Here's Williams. 5 points in the game. Fires for 3. Tatum pulls it in. Boston trailing. Pass to White. Outside Holiday. Brown with a screen. Goes up at the elbow. Tatum can't hit.
You can tell he's forcing things a bit at the moment. He's been trying to get it going, but this hasn't been his quarter.
Oh, there's the alley! And the jam by Brown.
Derek White.
A big athletic finish by Brown. Polishing off the lob pass with authority.
Pass to Johnson. .105 left in the first quarter here. Brown with the steal. There's the drive. And the jam by Brown.
Yeah, we know Brown loves some aerial theatrics, and he really went all out there.
The shot by Johnson, no good. Here's Tatum. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
This run has been fueled by their Matador defense.
Outside Johnson. That one falls. He's now 1 for 3.
Want to score in the NBA? Picks can really force the D to make tough choices.
4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Pass to Johnson. Back to Williams. Crafty move. And Williams punches it home.
What a two-way play. Just tremendous.
Yeah, the steal was slick. The slam topped it off.
And that is why you want to run off turnovers. Get down the floor before the defense is set.
It's the end of the first with a tie game here. And already these are
16.
some good action already in this one. But a fairly even matchup after this first quarter of play. And let's quickly break down the game we've seen from Brooklyn.
Well, so far, they've got things rolling along nicely at the offensive end.
Yeah, they've looked sharp early on with their offense, getting good chances and converting what they've taken.
Here's Thomas. Here he goes. Shots, 2 makes. Off to a good start. And, Coach, it seems there's a move to cut out some of the cheap fouls in the game. This notion of, if you wouldn't call it on the playground, why do you call it in a game? You like to see where it's going?
Yeah, look, there's some times where I think we'd get a better game if the players do what they did in pickup games, Brian, and just called their own fouls. A lot of these cheap fouls would cease to exist. I think there's just got to be a better recognition from referees on what really impacts a play and what doesn't.
All right, let's get a report from Allie.
Well, after some down years in Dallas, Kristaps Porzingis said, I really checked myself. From that point on, I started building my game back up. Sometimes when you're younger, your physical abilities might already be there, but your mental is not. Once that all clicks, that's when you've got something.
Well, that's a good way to think of it. Thanks, Allie. 6 on the shot clock. Pass to Claxton. And there's another one for the net.
Knew exactly where his teammate would be. That's a product of good chemistry.
Boy, that foul looked intentional. Not exactly what you'd expect here.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make sense given the situation.
So both teams making some changes here. Here's Walsh. From outside, off the mark. Brooklyn trailing. Here's Clowney. So it'll be 2 free throws. He was fouled in the act of shooting.
First personal foul.
Man, the defender really went after him.
All right, guys, what's your take on the hustle stats for the Celtics?
Well, they're playing with great pace, pushing the ball up the floor and attacking before the defense can get set.
Yeah, and also a great job hustling on turnovers and turning them into points. Defense creating offense so far in this one.
Puts it up from the high post. And the jumper is on the mark. Pritchard's got his first points in this one.
Way to rise to the occasion and snatch back the momentum.
Yeah, plenty of lead changes in this game. It's gone back and forth.
Here's Pritchard. Looking at his numbers, currently he's averaging around 9 points a game. Here's Craig. Laid it in with a nice touch off the window. Craig's got his first points of the night. One team gains momentum, then the other storms back.
Hey, if this is any indication of how the game is going to go, we're in for a treat. And plays like that one can make the difference in a close game.
And it definitely got the bench on their feet, too.
And guys, you cannot allow that in a close game. You have to make it harder than that.
Back to Pritchard. Lets the 3 fly. Brooklyn with the board. Here's Wilson. Yet to see a basket. Here's Clowney. Carries it down low. And now a 3-point Brooklyn lead.
Well, you love the unselfishness. Makes the next pass and enables his team to capitalize on the possession.
Got a hand on it. On the break. From deep. No good that time. Celtics trail by 3. Pass to Walsh. Puts up a 3. Drains the triple. Walsh has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Melton outside. And here's Portis. Here's the floater. And Craig pulls it down. Over to the wing.
Last 2 minutes to play. Second quarter.
Here's Pritchard. Out to Craig. Late clock. The Celtics got to hurry here. Kept alive.
Well, playing his role to perfection, using his size to control the glass for his team.
And that one's good.
And another great assist. The offense is really clicking now.
Here's Pritchard. And again, Boston with the triple.
Their defense has to do a better job of smothering those shooters.
Melton outside. Pass to Clowney. From the arc. Hauser grabs the board. The Celtics with the lead. Here's Walsh. .56 seconds left to play in the half. To the inside. Cornet.
Assist.
Good setup. Led him to the rack perfectly for the layup.
Credit their discipline. They've been working for high percentage shots.
Oh, it's stolen away. Here's Craig. Oh, a big finish with a one-handed jam.
Got to give him credit for jumping on the ball and making the most at the other end.
Boy, inexcusable at this point of the game. They got to be more composed in these moments.
Well, as a coach, turnovers will drive you nuts, but sometimes that happens when you're aggressive. So there's a balance.
Just 1 second separating the shot clock and the game clock. Cornet at the post. Here's Walsh. Misses the jumper from the wing. Here's Whitehead. And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half.
30.
It's the Celtics.
The Celtics.
They lead by 5. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter. And after a fairly even first couple of quarters, this second half could turn out to be a great one as both teams trying to gain an edge. Here's Johnson. Oh, and Johnson slams it in.
I just love the aggressive finish.
Now, I'm thinking he's sending a strong message with that jam. Here's Tatum. Offensive board. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. And the Celtics lead by 5.
Well, when it comes to his jump shooting, Tatum is extremely efficient in catch and shoot situations.
Here's Williams. The rebound by Jason Tatum. You know, Grant, in interviews, Jason Tatum often seems understated and soft-spoken, but that's just him, isn't it?
That's true, V.A. Tatum has a quiet confidence about him. He doesn't feel the need to be loud or act out. He lets his work on the court do all the talking for him.
Outside Johnson. Counted from distance. Johnson's got 6.
You got to appreciate the consistency. Night in and night out, he brings it.
Tatum with it. And Johnson picks him up defensively. Tatum with a screen. The kick out to White. 5 on the clock. Out of bounds. It'll be Brooklyn's ball. And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. A moment to rest and confer on the game plan. All right, Coach, what are some qualities you're looking for in a lead guard?
Well, look, you want a guy that can make plays, that can control the game. When I first got into the league, people thought about point guards as traditional pass-first guys. But now it means more than that. You want a guy who can make plays, whether it's for himself or for his teammates. They've got the offense clicking. 3 for 4 to start the half and looking confident.
And it's going to be out of bounds. Boston will have another go. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Claxton. Gives us a chance to catch up with Allie LaForce.
Brian, it's great hearing Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla talk shop. He said everybody tries to break basketball up into offense and defense, but it's one game. Your spacing, decision-making, and shot selection set up your defense. That transition happens so fast, so the game is constantly changing. It's all connected, Brian.
No question. Thanks, Allie. Good stuff there.
What a swat by the big man Porzingis. You always have to be careful shooting when he's lurking. Well, the defense catches a break there. You expect him to make those.
Here's Johnson. And he misses the go-ahead basket.
That's a shot he'd like back. He's usually going to make those. That was a good call. The defense wasn't established.
First personal foul. First team foul.
On defense, the Nets. They've only allowed 2 points so far in the second half. Outside White. Shot clock at 6. Pass to Tatum. This one for 3. Knocks it down from distance. Tatum's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Draining his first 3 of the game, no doubt hoping to build up a little momentum from outside.
Oh, and Johnson slams it in.
Oh, that was nasty. A 2-hand mega slam.
Man, I don't think anyone was going to stop him there. Here's Holiday. The rebound by the Nets.
That's the shot you hope for. Right at the rim, just couldn't capitalize.
Pass to Johnson. For the lead. The shot, no good. And it's Holiday with the ball for Boston. They lead by 1. Second half here, and we're just over 3.5 minutes into it. The shot by Johnson, no good. And so it's Boston with it. They'll be hosting Toronto for their next one. And that's the first of just 2 home games for them. Pass to Porzingis. Rebounded by Johnson. Here's Brooklyn. Outside Johnson. Oh, and Johnson slams it in. And it's amazing. Neither team has been able to hold the lead for any length of time.
Yeah, these guys are leaving it all on the floor tonight. You don't want to stop the clock right there. I'm not quite sure what he was thinking.
Some changes for Brooklyn. Outside Tatum. No, stopping him there. Jams it in, and he's fouled. An opportunity at a three-point play. It's going to be on Bobby Portis. And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for the Celtics.
Well, they've been hitting threes at a high clip, and the defense hasn't done enough to challenge them at the line. They need to close out and run them off the three.
Yeah, something else I love that they're doing is driving into the lane and getting the shots they want in penetration.
And Drew Holiday gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul of the game. And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. He wants to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Even the non-dancers.
Brooklyn with the ball. It's a one-point game. Here's Clowney. Hauled in by Brown.
Man, coach is going to have a few words with him after that shot.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't the shot they were looking for. You got to keep the ball moving in that situation.
Yeah, showing a little versatility with their offensive attack. In the first half, it was about the three ball. In the second half, they've emphasized interior scoring.
Melton misses. Boston leading by 3. Pass to Porzingis. There's Tatum with the 3. Right side Holiday. Outside White. 3 on the clock. Down low. Here's Tatum. And a missed layup. 24 seconds left in the third. Tatum pulls it in. And Joe Mazzulla calls timeout here. We might see him looking to make some tweaks to the strategy here.
And we'd all love to hear what goes on in those huddles, but we just get the snapshots.
Well, as a coach, you want to cover just 1 or 2 major points. That way guys can absorb it and go out and execute.
The Celtics with the lead.
You'd like to let the clock run and take the final shot.
Yeah, unless it's a gimme, there's no reason to put up an early shot here.
Pulls up at the elbow. The shot comes out. Here's Clowney. What a play! He drains it at the buzzer!
Yeah, they needed the 3 to tie it up, and he nails it. That sets up what could be a riveting fourth quarter.
And I know I speak for all of us when I say I can't wait to see what kind of finish awaits us here in the fourth quarter. And the Celtics in possession here. Looking to get it going. Brooklyn pulls it in. Pass to Johnson. Now here's Williams. The kick out to Johnson. Again, Brooklyn with the triple.
Cool, calm, and collected at a critical juncture in this game.
Here's Tatum. Look at Tatum using his length.
Yeah, you have to give him a lot of credit here. He's turned things around after a disappointing first half.
There's the screen by Johnson. A good look from Johnson. The rebound by Jason Tatum.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better look. That's one he's got to knock down.
Fourth quarter of basketball. We're about a minute into it. Porzingis for 3. Williams grabs the board. The Nets with the lead. Here's Johnson. Oh, it's blocked by Porzingis.
Great play by Porzingis. Love seeing the zinger engaged on D.
Now Thomas. Outside Johnson. Pass to Johnson. And stolen by Holiday. We've gone about a minute and a half into this fourth quarter. Kick out to Brown. Now White. Let's go with a three. Good. And Brown gets the assist.
Look, shooting off the catch is something White's become really good at.
Pass to Claxton. Thomas outside. And the officials will call the illegal screen here.
Sometimes the action speeds up on you a little too much. Two teammates not on the same wavelength there.
So it's Boston now. They played a great fourth quarter defensively, allowing only 3 points. Tatum with it. Claxton picks him up. Outside Tatum. Pass to Brown. They kick it out to Porzingis. And again, Boston with the triple.
Few bigs stretch the floor like Porzingis. He can be just deadly from the arc.
And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout, rallying his guys to make sure they all know the plan. A chance here to catch up with Allie from the sideline.
Well, over the break, I listened in on Jordi Fernandez's huddle. Coach knows they're losing the three battle, and he told the team, we need to limit their outside looks, force them to put it on the floor, and make them beat us off the dribble. Back to you, Brian.
And Allie, thank you for that. Boston on offense. They've gone on an 8-0 run. The kick out to White. Back to Tatum. Can't get it to fall.
Just imagine if he was shooting better. The lead would be even bigger.
Here's Johnson. The shot off that time. Some solid defense from Holiday.
He's lost his rhythm completely this quarter, but he's determined to stay after it.
And there's a whistle. That goes on Cam Thomas. That's foul number 2 for him.
First team foul.
Outside Tatum. Pass to White. 6 to shoot. Back to Tatum. Shoots over Johnson. And it's Tatum missing.
Well, his shot selection's been poor. If I were coaching this team, he'd be sitting next to me.
Johnson for 3. Boston pulls it in. Outside Holiday. Outside Tatum. Porzingis sets a screen. To the paint. Over Johnson. Operating inside. Porzingis.
One of the tallest guys in the league. Give Porzingis the ball there and just let him work.
And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. He wants their game plan to be crystal clear at this point. Nets trail by 7. Outside Johnson to end the drought. Chalk up 2 there.
This continues to be a battle. The lead is within reach.
Yeah, this is definitely a close one. Let's see if they have enough in the tank to take the lead here.
Outside Brown. Shakes him. Rebounded by Johnson. And so it's Johnson with it. He brings it up to Brooklyn. Pass to Thomas. Connects from downtown. And now it's just a 2-point Celtic lead.
Well, this is what he does. A proven scorer in the clutch.
Left side White. Porzingis for 3. It doesn't go for him.
And this is exactly who you want taking that shot. He just missed it.
The kick out to Johnson. And again, it's Brooklyn from deep. Oh, this one has turned into an absolute nail-biter.
Yeah, at this point, you almost expect it to come down to the last possession.
Here's Tatum. Oh, Tatum slams it home.
What a big-time bucket. Tatum stepping up as a leader and coming through for his team.
Outside Johnson. Boston with a rebound.
I'm sure he'd like to have that back. That's a missed opportunity.
Tatum with it. And it's Thomas picking him up. Back to Tatum. Oh, he nails it!
There is absolutely no fear in his eyes. He loves the moment.
Yeah, and I can say from experience, his coach just breathed a huge sigh of relief.
And they foul intentionally. Now they're going to have to do that again. They're not in the penalty just yet.
Yeah, no, you had to do that. I mean, can't allow them to dribble out the time.
And he commits the intentional foul.
His third personal foul. Third team foul.
Good on the first. And that gives him a 4-point cushion. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one. Here's Thomas for three. And he sinks it. Oh, what a sensational bucket. That brings him within one. And they need to stop the clock, so there's the foul. First free throw is good. And that'll put him up 2. Second one is good, getting both at the line. And it's a 3-point game.
Well, talk about poise under pressure. Buries all of his free throws, and now up 3. They've got to play smart.
And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. And coach didn't want to take any chances in this situation, which is why he called the TO. What's the best strategy for him?
So hard to get a clean look from distance in this situation because everybody knows.